All right, let's get into it. Today, we're going to unpack a really powerful and, let's be honest, kind of strange parable, the story of the Magissa and the mirror world. It's all about language, power, and what it takes to forge your own meaning in a world that just loves to echo itself.
And boom, right from the jump, we're faced with this huge mystery. Why speak backward? You gotta understand, this isn't just some weird party trick. No, this is a philosophical weapon. It sets up the whole story, this massive clash between a completely radical way of seeing the world and the way things have always been done.
And where does this clash happen? Right here, in the marketplace. Now, this isn't just a place to buy and sell goods. Think of it as a symbolic heart of society. It's where ideas are traded and, fitting in is the most valuable currency. And this is where we meet the two sides of our story, the one-of-a-kind Magessa and the crowd.
And you can really see the divide here. On one side, you've got the Magessa. She's not just a person, she's this force of nature, a Dionysian hammer, that wild, chaotic, creative energy. And on the other side, we've got the last men. Their whole deal is comfort, safety. They just want to stay in the herd, living in these beautiful, orderly illusions, these Apollonian dream images that protect them from the messy, raw truth of what it means to be alive.
So how does she possibly shake them out of this comfort zone? Well, the Magissa isn't just trying to be different for the sake of it. Her goal is to break the very thing that makes them feel safe. She's here to shatter their mirror of truth. So she yells out this totally wild declaration. And of course, the crowd just laughs. I mean, what are they supposed to do? They want a truth that's simple, logical, something that fits neatly into a box. And she gives them this, something that sounds like complete nonsense. A truth you have to fight for, not one you can just passively accept. And here is the absolute core of her idea. For the Magissa, truth is not some objective fact just floating out there in space, waiting to be found. Nope. It's a tool. It's a useful falsehood, an interpretation of the world that gives you the strength to live, to overcome, to create. Truth isn't a warm blanket for the comfortable, it's a weapon for the warrior. So by speaking backward, by saying these outrageous things, she's trying to snap them out of a trance. She wants to create a silence, an emptiness, a blank slate where something truly new can finally be born. You see, for her, destruction is always the very first act of creation. Which brings us to the ultimate why. Why is she doing all this? This whole destructive dance isn't just chaos for chaos's sake. It's a very deliberate path. She's actually building a bridge to something more. And this is the crisis at the heart of it all, the ultimate source of meaning, of value, of truth for an entire civilization. It's gone. And in that massive void, what's left? Well, humanity can either shrink away into nothingness, or it can rise up and face a brand new challenge. And this is what's on the other side of that bridge, the Overman. And listen, this isn't some superhero in a cape. It's an individual with the guts to become their own source of light, someone who forges their own values and lives by them, answering to no authority higher than life itself. So you can see why she's so disruptive, right? Depending on who you ask, she's a totally different person. To the priest, who gets his values from God, she's a blasphemer. To the scientist, whose truth is all about objective facts, she's just an absurdity. But for anyone brave enough to walk that tightrope, she's the only bridge from what we were to what we could become.
But how do you even start a journey like that? Well, it's not just some vague poetic idea. The Magissa's whole philosophy actually lays out a pretty clear, powerful process for this transformation.
First, the spirit is like a camel, just patiently carrying all the heavy rules of society, all the thou shalts. But to grow, you have to become a lion. You have to turn and fight that dragon of tradition, roaring your own independent I will. But even that freedom isn't the final goal. The last transformation is into a child. Innocent, creative, a new beginning that says a sacred yes to life and makes up its own game with its own rules.
And the key thing here, and this is so important, is that this isn't some gentle eat, pray, love journey of self-discovery. No way. It's an active, sometimes a violent process of becoming. You don't find yourself, you forge yourself by destroying all the parts that the herd forced onto you. And that all leads us to her final lesson. The Magissa isn't here to give us a new set of answers. She's here to leave us with a challenge, one that requires an incredible amount of courage. I absolutely love this quote. It just cuts through all the noise, doesn't it? Her magic isn't a show, it's not a trick. It is the shocking, instantaneous bolt of lightning that shatters your reflection, forcing you to see beyond the comfortable fake image you have of yourself and your world. So in the end, she doesn't leave behind a new rule book. She leaves behind a dare. And the dare is to live dangerously. To leave the safe, solid ground of good and evil and walk that terrifying tightrope where you and only you are responsible for keeping your balance. And if there is one thing to remember about her, it's this. She is not here to save you. She doesn't even want to. Her entire purpose is to provoke you, to anger you, to confuse you, to shake you up so badly that you have no choice but to wake up and create your own salvation. So ultimately, this whole parable turns right back around and points at us. If speaking the world forward is just repeating the same old words and the same old values, then the real challenge, the highest magic of all, is to invent your own language. So the question she leaves echoing in that marketplace is the same one we're left with right now. What will yours say?